Do not prioritize time with your partner over time with your friends or over time with yourself. I think in this society, we really do put emphasis on our romantic connections, on them being the most important. It's almost as if there's a hierarchy, and at the top, it's our partners, then our friends, then ourselves. I believe we should shift that. Don't write off the whole weekend to spend time with your partner when you know your friends are free, when they're trying to hang out with you. The more you ditch time with yourself and time with your friends for your partner, the more you bind yourselves together, the more you become reliant on your partner. And that means if your partner suddenly decides to start being a bit lazy, then you are just going to be left in the dark because he is your world. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Alessia. I'm so happy to have you sat with me, lying down with me, just being with me. It's kind of crazy that we are connecting through a screen. I feel very grateful for my phone at the moment because it really enables me to connect with these people that are not living close to me, that I wouldn't usually even be able to meet or know about. There are just so many lovely, kind, strong, creative, empathetic women out there. And this YouTube channel has really enabled me to connect with you and see you. And I just think it's a beautiful community that we've got going here, and I love you all. Now today I'm making a video that is aimed to empower those of you that are in relationships, but I think there's actually going to be a lot to take from this video, whether you're in a relationship or not, to do with getting more confident in being alone and enjoying your own company and being able to go out into the world and be in public spaces on your own confidently. Please get comfortable, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think of my new haircut. Still trying to decide whether I like it or not. And yeah, let's get on with the video. Do you want to be the person that drives your day-to-day life, the person that makes most of the decisions for yourself? Or do you want to put that in the hands of your partner? Do you want your quality of life to be determined by somebody else? If that's a big fat no, this is a big moment for you. You're clearly watching this video because you want to take control of your life. So I want you to actively say out loud now, I am ready to choose me. You are ready to choose you. Do you struggle to be out in public when you're on your own? I think this is one thing that encourages us women to rely on our partners a lot. When we feel uncomfortable out in public, understandably, because we live in a patriarchal world, we end up relying on our partners to join us, to go out with us. Going out of the house in public into your local town can be a really anxiety-inducing thing. So I really understand why over time you started to rely on going out with your partner rather than just doing your own thing. And if your friends aren't around as much, or you don't really feel like you've got a friendship circle at the moment, it's even easier to then really rely on your partner to enjoy life. I get that. So I'm going to start off this video with giving you some tips to help you enjoy going out alone, to help you get comfortable with that. Ditch the main character dressing. I really understand that it's a form of self-expression, getting all dressed up and putting on a really cool, snazzy outfit that's quite eye-catching and colourful and exciting, and I don't want to take that away from you, I really don't. But personally, I notice that when I dress more casually, I'm afforded a bit more privacy, and I feel like there's less eyes on me, and I feel like I can get into this kind of like, oh, I'm just doing my private thing, just living in my own little bubble. I can get more into that mode when I'm in more casual attire. Clothing certainly helps us take on certain characters, and it certainly evokes certain feelings in us. And I do think when we dress very glamorous and in these quite statement outfits, we do feel like we're the main character. And by definition, that means we think that everyone is interested in us and that we're the centre of attention. And of course, when you're out in public and you feel like all eyes are on you, you feel the need to keep up this kind of like cool image and to look good, and you're constantly aware that people are looking at you. So if you don't want to feel like you are being watched, if you want to just exist more in your own bubble and be able to kind of bumble along as you're walking up and down the street, looking at your local shops, going to the park, I encourage you to use clothing to your advantage. Use clothing to evoke a sense of calm in you. Another thing that I really encourage you to do when you're going out for maybe a walk into your local town, I encourage you to listen to music that enables you to relax, to feel calm. A lot of pop music, a lot of the lyrics puts a lot of emphasis on looking hot for the boys, being the sexy one, being the centre of attention. If we want to feel calm and collected in our bodies, I wouldn't suggest blaring pop music really loud in your ears as you walk through town. I suggest listening to classical music or maybe jazz music, something that enables you to look outside of yourself. I think pop music sometimes encourages you to kind of look at yourself and perform and be this character and really focus on what you look like and how you're coming across. Whereas classical music, for example, really enables you to look outside of yourself, look at nature, look at the trees, the flowers, the couple meeting up, or the grandma walking with her granddaughter. Those beautiful human moments are so much more noticeable when we are able to feel calm in our bodies and appreciative of the world around us. And I do think certain music enables us to tap into gratitude more easily, more readily. It depends on what kind of music makes you feel calm and collected in your body, what kind of music makes you look out the window and think, oh, what a beautiful life I'm living. I really encourage you to create that playlist of songs that enable you to be the observer rather than the performer. Now, I'm going to put in the description box below some songs that enable me to be the observer, the calm, relaxed, grateful observer, rather than the performer. It's so much nicer to feel like you can just soak in your environment when you're out in public rather than worry about how you look and how you're being perceived. When we're so concerned with the self, with how we are coming across to others, we can't relax, we can't feel grateful. And, gratitude really is what we want to tap into. When we feel grateful, we can't also feel miserable or fearful or self-critical. You can't think two things at once. So really tap into that gratitude and utilize music to feel that sense of awe. Oh, look at the world I'm existing in, aren't I lucky? Right now, I want you to quickly take your eyes off me and look in the room that you're existing in and notice something that you're grateful for. Something beautiful, something that makes you feel safe, something that makes you feel like yourself. An affirmation that you could repeat that will enable you to enjoy your time in public alone is, I've got it written down, I'm free to be myself and let go of the idea that I need to look cool. Why are we so concerned with looking cool and being cool? The opposite of being cool, I think, is kind of being cringe or embarrassing. But that's where the really happy, exciting moments come from. The really playful, kind of childlike moments come from that cringy place. I think the people that are really concerned with looking cool don't feel cool. They feel insecure. If you're really fixated on looking cool, it's usually coming from a place of lack. And you feel like you need to perform and be this person that you're not. As humans, we are cringe because we like to dance and be silly and put on funny voices and giggle at random things. I promise you, no one's going to be looking at you thinking they're not cool. They're going to be thinking, am I cool? Everyone is just concerned with themselves and how they think they're being perceived. You can feel so trapped when you rely on your partner to go out of the house. This codependent relationship brews from this resistance to experience life on your own, to challenge yourself. So I really encourage you to challenge yourself, to make time for those little moments where you can go and experience the world on your own, and use all the tips to help you ease into it. Listen to that music that relaxes you. Repeat those positive affirmations. Do not prioritise time with your partner over time with your friends or over time with yourself. I think in this society, we really do put emphasis on our romantic connections, on them being the most important. It's almost as if there's a hierarchy, and at the top, it's our partners, then our friends, then ourselves. I believe we should shift that, and it should be ourselves, our relationships with ourselves, our relationships with our friends, and our relationships with our romantic partners. Make time for your friends. Don't write off the whole weekend to spend time with your partner when you know your friends are free, when they're trying to hang out with you. If you've got friends that make you feel really good about yourself, that enable you to be creative and to be silly, spend time with them. The more you ditch time with yourself and time with your friends for your partner, the more you bind yourselves together, the more you become reliant on your partner. And that means if your partner suddenly decides to start being a bit lazy, then you are just going to be left in the dark because he is your world. Now we are here talking about this, I want you to quickly make a plan for the week ahead. Just one plan, one thing that you can do either on your own or with your friends. Maybe you could go to that indie cinema that's down the road and watch a film by yourself. Maybe you could join a book club. Maybe there's a meetup on a Thursday. Plan one thing now that you can do for yourself. And if you go to, say, this book club meetup on Thursday and it's a bit boring, you don't really connect with anyone, it's not a waste of time. It's still worthwhile. And do you know why? Because you're proving to yourself that you can go out and experience life and be social without your partner. You're building up trust in yourself, that you can take yourself out, that your life can be exciting and challenging and fruitful with or without your partner. You've got your own back, you're going to take yourself out, and you're going to meet new people. You know what? I think a lot of the time we become really attached to our partners because we forget who we were before we were this conjoined pair. We forget that we had an identity beforehand. And I think a massive part of this process is finding yourself again, finding what you've loved again and getting reacquainted with those hobbies that make you feel alive. So definitely invest time in the things that light you up. But also I just want to quickly get you to remind yourself of a time when you felt whole and excited and happy before your partner was in the picture. So think of a memory now of a time when you felt really good. It could be a really simple memory. For example, one of my most treasured memories is when I went for a walk in a park, sat under a tree and basked in the sun and wrote in my journal. It's really important to remind ourselves of those beautiful times that we had all by ourselves or with our friends. Life was good before we were in a relationship. As I was saying earlier, us women can constantly feel a little bit on edge, a little bit unsafe in our bodies. And yes, our partners can provide that relief and enable us to relax for a moment, but that tension is always kind of there. The only time that tension kind of dissipates for me personally is when I meditate. You can feel safe in your body when you meditate, and that will enable you to detach from your partner. Because if you can provide that safety for yourself, you don't need to rely on them as much. We can make ourselves feel safe in our own bodies by meditating. We can get that beautiful feeling of ease and relaxation just by closing our eyes and taking deep breaths and maybe following a guided meditation. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I hope you have a really nice day. I do self-love and decentering men coaching. So if you're interested in connecting with me on that basis, my email is in the description box. Pop me an email and feel free to ask for more details and we can have a little conversation about it all.